passing down the straight, you're going to lose time.
The Ducatis from the Yamahas, then the Aprilia, then the Suzukis, and all the KTMs together. But it's going to be Pecco Bagnaia from Poland. Zarco has led this race before in the past when he was on a Yamaha. He loves Qatar. He crashed out, unfortunately, when he was leading.
No, and the man in third, Jack Miller's only won one, and that was in 2016, that wet race in Assen, if you remember, when he was on the customer Honda.
The GP race, he's not won a MotoGP race before. Behind them, you've got Quartararo, Vinales, then Valentino Rossi and Espargaro.
Pace, he's been fast and consistent, and it looks like Aleix. I thought Vinales was going to try and squeeze through.
He's been Oliveira, who had really good pace, as did Binder, but Oliveira in particular on the KTM, they've been horrible on one lap, horrible during testing. Quartararo's got all the red tinges to that factory bike. Vinales with the white and grey silvery look to his helmet as he tucks in that from Miller. Now, Bagnaia said yesterday, yeah, I could go up at the front and take away and take off, but I wouldn't make full race distance.
And someone's leading and you feel comfortable, you know that you're saving your tyres, so he's got that dilemma now. Do I push? Do I risk going for the last 10 laps? You'll drop like a stone, so you have to be careful on the exits of these corners.
Fabio Quartararo throw on the Inky Morbidelli, runner-up in the championship. He's down in 19th place, Neil. Is that all from the start? Because I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, oh sorry, it's Vinales has just got past Martin as well. No, what's going to be interesting with Martin is if he can hang with the Ducatis at 10 kilometres, well actually 12 or 13 kilometres faster than the Yamahas.
It's the same old story told from a little bit quicker on the Yamaha in terms of pace, but when you put them on this part of the track, there is no way you can stay in front if you on the second row of the grid. But he said himself, my pace isn't quite there.
Yeah, it was a pretty special lap.
Even further now, back to 9th.
Right,
so,
yeah.
But as you say, it wasn't podium. It wasn't podium like it should be for the front. Pecco Bagnaia's pace. It was a 1:55.0 last time from Bagnaia, last go around. Still outside, reached those heights since.
Seems like a long time ago, Gav. Well, it was.
Because it was.
For Honda, they are missing Marc Marquez. Their number one rider right now is Paul Espargaro. Obviously, he needs to
a roadblock for the Suzuki. That was a big race here, because the COVID pandemic started just after the end of the which I thought was a strange decision. But we didn't have a MotoGP, so we got to the track in 2019 before. But I remember it was 1 year later, he was also in the mix early on, but we're a long way away at the moment.
Yeah, well, what happened in the race, you've got Quartararo and Vinales, and they're about, they're all a half second quicker. Are they to go as quick as you can at this point in the race and try and get in front of the riders, as opposed to being able to save your tyres? That's what it comes back to.
And then switch it back to a more friendly power delivery to save your tyres. I wonder into last year, he became the top Ducati, didn't he? Ahead of Dovizioso, and he learned how to manage a race. When they lose again on that day.
Yeah, what we also learned last year, Gav, is if you finish fourth in every race, you would have been the world champion. So the world championship in the first round, but you certainly can lose it.
I'll say he was an outsider. He really comes to the fore this weekend. Pecco does strike, I think Michael said it just before. There's almost a direct replacement.
Not a lot, Gav, he was a little bit old school. But his mannerisms, I think the feedback they what have given from the team. He's saying that he's
What's Jack's strategy? Right here, I wonder. Looks like he might be under pressure soon. The thing is, that's not a great return as we look on the inside. But
It's really interesting to watch this. Is he going to be reversing the maneuver? I think it is. So he's lost coming out.
Actually has clocked the top speed in this race. See, heading into the headwinds. So Jack Miller under a bit of pressure from his pal Maverick Vinales. Fairly solid. I think he is managing here, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anyone's pulled the pin properly.
Sharer, Jack Miller. Good pals, used to have the same manager in Akiayo. Maverick went his own way. Think Dobby, think what he would do.
And it's hard not to panic a little bit. It's hard not to try a little bit harder, break a little bit. Can't get flustered at this point in the race because you'll lose time.
Jorge Martinez having a fantastic run.
Never won a MotoGP race, has he? Like we were saying, it's hard to believe because he's done quite a few races now in the Premier class. His KTM year was not a year to remember, but he joined the Avintia team last year.
A look at Fabio there, and Jack tried to take advantage of Maverick being forced to abort mission. He just revealed to the Spanish press yesterday, he just having a little bit of a look again, that they wouldn't rattle each other, they wouldn't go at this moment in time, would it? But
now looking at the lap times, yeah, Quartararo was quite a bit faster than the lead two on that last lap. So
Miller, Rins has a score to settle in MotoGP. He last year should have been the rider he feels to take beset his whole year. It was almost a 1-2, wasn't it, for Suzuki, as Vinales again aborts the mission.
13 laps to go. Nobody really said they fancied Rins for the win. If you think about it, we thought it was going to be obviously and he's 0.4 of a second faster than the men in front.
He was having a look at Jack Miller on that occasion. We said it at the start, Michael said it, you've said it at the start, it's going to be about tyres. Who's got something left in the locker when we get to those final laps? We're not, this is the 11th lap, should I say. 12.5 laps gone, there's Maverick Vinales again. Have a think about
Quartararo rides just slightly different brakes later. Yeah, Rins.
Here he comes through up to 5th place. Alex Rins is also on, trying everything, wasn't he, to make sure he could keep Miller at bay. Sahara-san, a new boss, I suppose. He always was the boss, but no Davide Brivio.
Pace, look how he's passed his teammate and he's jumped straight onto the back of Zarco.
Look at it this year. Those scoops at the bottom are supposed to help in some way, but the general feedback from the Ducati riders is Miller got back, stayed in front of Rins on that previous lap.
Vinales there, he was having a look.
Well, it's where he's got to make the difference.
So the Yamaha gets off the corner okay, and it's literally up through the gearbox, and it's when you get into 5th, 6th.
Front of Quartararo. Jack Miller has seen that Maverick was on the move,
that's what it is.
Responded.
I agree.
He obviously is managed, but he has been playing a waiting game.
Yep, I agree. He did a lot of laps, he did a lot of race runs.
Now, what can Alex Rins do with a Yamaha in front of him? In theory, it should be a little bit easier to get past. Down the straight, anyway, just a second.
Here we go.
He was building
on the
up.
inside.
He was building
Nice
up to
move.
this.
Very nice move.
That's a classic, isn't it?
Ah, that was side into 11, Rins up the inside. The thing is there, Fabio Quartararo was really good into that corner, so
Means business now, and if he hits the front, Pecco's going to have to respond. However much he's trying to manage this race, he's going to have
like I said, he jumps out the corners and then that means he can stay in the slipstream, but like we said before, Zarco's bike's the fastest one.
up to the middle laps to try and stick in. He's just at a 156.
Yeah, strange that, really strange.
Because he is slowing up the pace as much as possible, and Vinales knows it.
Well look, Rins and, Aleix Espargaro, he was 4 seconds.
5.5 laps down, this time we are, and we've got 9.5 still to go here in Qatar. Who's got some rubber left? Pitboard, feeling from the bike, and he'll have his times coming up on his dash, won't he?
Yeah,
So we'll
they look fine to be honest, don't they? Here we
Here
go.
Maverick into the left-hander, bit of a wobble on from Maverick. So he has to again just sit in behind, and it punches nicely, doesn't it, out of the corner?
Yeah, then gets perfectly in the slipstream. Look, and this is why you can't panic in these sorts of races. There's still 9 laps to go. It's a long way to go. I can't call it now.
All right.
You know me, I like an early call as well.
Maverick looks
it's too
great
hard
to me. Maverick looks fine. Maverick in 8th, and Pecco Bagnaia, who's leading the way. Do you remember that Qatar race a couple of years ago? There was about an 8-9. Oh, that was so close from Maverick. I thought he was about to ride through the rear wheel.
So did he.
Bagnaia gave him room.
Well, Espargaro on the Honda in his first ride, he's like, I'm not saving my tyres. He's about 0.4 of a second faster than this group.
Honda. He had 5 crashes during testing. It's not been a pretty start to the year. His crew chief, Beefy, who worked with Cal Crutchlow for so many years. It's not a slow corner onto the straight, but it's not a fast one by any means. Here comes Miller again, back past Rins every time, but it comes from 17 miles an hour.
Don't know what's happened to Valentino Rossi. I've just seen he's down to
15.
Just
So not too bothered about it. you feel there's another second out there for the riders.
Yes. So if
Rumble, Rins fancies a piece of this one in the opening round of the 2021 MotoGP World Championship. We've got the Ducati from another Ducati. Here comes Maverick Vinales. He's going to take the lead from Pecco Bagnaia. He's been lurking for a number of laps now.
But only have one plan now, and that is to go. And look, actually, he's stretching it already. Like you said, that is a strong point for the Yamaha. But we have seen that Yamaha.
This is like a race from last year for Quartararo. He is dropping down the order. Not what he or Yamaha wanted. A really good lap here. Can he open a gap to the rest?
And he knows that, Gav. Now it's a qualifying lap for Vinales. He's going to turn
tighter parts of the circuit where the Ducati wouldn't necessarily turn as well as the Yamaha. Let's have a see if Maverick Vinales was down into the 56s. So what we're going to get here from Vinales, and Joan Mir is steadily to Aleix Espargaro, still fancying their chances. I think Pol Espargaro might have too much to do. I think Aleix Espargaro in eighth might have too much to do.
in the gap on the leaders, and I mean, if he can't get the podium, his best ever result's the 6th place.
Yeah,
so
and brilliant, best ever result.
Quite a bit of time, and that's definitely helped Aleix out.
Yeah, it has. Jack Miller looks like he doesn't have the pace here today, Neil. Needs to get through on Bagnaia. Bagnaia's not going to give it up. He's a demon on the brakes. It's Bagnaia, but Zarco better. Bagnaia been running high 55 9s and 56s. Suddenly, half a second has been put on the pace here.
So if he can get within, well, if he can half that gap, he's a chance of being able to level him by the end of the straight.
Down 9th and 10th for Rins and Mir, and they're 4th and 5th, and you have to feel if they could find a one lap. Zarco was at 0.5, and now Bagnaia is under pressure from Rins. Rins has to pull out of it, but Bagnaia back behind Quartararo, and now Bagnaia could be out of the podium spot. It looked oh so promising when they were on the pop.
To Vinales through the twisty bits, which you definitely will make back on this straight.
Across the line now, firing himself with Vinales. Shout out to the Aprilia of Aleix Espargaro, never had a top 5, and here comes his little bro at the moment. It's Enea Bastianini, the Moto2 World Champion, there in 10th place on the Avintia bike.
It's been a nightmare. This track doesn't suit their motorcycle at all.
They hate it, don't they, here? I've no idea what's happened to Morbidelli and Brad Binder. There are no slow riders in MotoGP, Neil.
That's true. That is very true. Well, Morbidelli's in 18th place at the moment.
This is where he lost a couple of spots, battling it out with the KTMs. And failed to get past Pecco Bagnaia, and Mir's gone, look, there's a reason I've got the number 1 on my back. Zarco in 2nd place, very good ride for him on the battery bike at behind him.
With just 4 laps to go, well, 3.5 laps to go, can you believe the top 15 are covered by just 10?
By 10 seconds. Top 15 by just 15 seconds.
Right.
Who was 15th and in the final point scoring position that day?
Go on.
Through the year. Well, he didn't actually. He said he was going to at the end of the year, but the team said, no, you can go now, thanks very much. Rear of Joan Mir smoking as he tries to stick him behind Pecco Bagnaia. He wants a podium from this opening round of the...
He likes that corner.
Aleix Espargaro is through on Jack Miller and up into 7th place. All good. Marquez coming back. We don't know when it will be. There's a possibility Dobby might be back. He's going to be testing the Aprilia in a month. Rumours are...
Yeah, poor Savadori, he's off the pace. He's got a shoulder injury, and not to be too harsh, but he's not quite at the calibre.
Well, there were people who said Ducatis might have done their work during tests. They didn't have the pace during textbook Qatar move. Ken Kawauchi on the right, Shinichi Sahara on the left. The management committee.
It's there at Suzuki, so I mean, he's left to go to Formula 1, but he didn't need replacing. Very good point.
He's calculating, he is methodical.
Do you know what he does,
and he's fast.
He gets the most out of every weekend, and this is a few issues.
He was grumpy last night as well. He was talking about the front end of the bike. He said, last year my brake direction they've gone in, they're testing 2022 stuff at Suzuki. This year's bike was so good, still they missed out on the final day of tests. Didn't seem to matter too much. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, is the old adage.
Because it's not one of those where he's had the pace all weekend and he's qualified bad and you go, don't worry, Mir will be there. No, that wasn't the case. And he's good when the tyres are off. He gets the most out of that. He's happy with the bike moving around. Have you seen him on a supermoto bike? I mean...
And Zarco here at the end. Zarco didn't have anything to take it to Vinales, and we just had it flashed up on our timing screens. The pressure sensors will let race direction know If you do it 2 more times now, Fabio, you're going to have to go through a long lap penalty.
This is it, the start of the last lap, and the big battle is for second between Zarco and Mir. I think Mir's going to, well, I think he's
judged it to perfection. He could even ease up on that previous lap, down into the 56s. Zarco was half a second quicker than Vinales, but he 225 miles an hour again, although into a headwind might be a tall order here today. But Vinales looks to have judged it. He won 3 out of the first 5 Grand Prix that season. We thought he's the real deal. Maverick Vinales is going to do it since then.
Building for that penultimate corner. We've seen him make a few passes there throughout this race. He's confident going into that tricky.
He's the way through. He tries to get right in on the back of Johan Zarco's
corner.
Is he going to pop out? Here he comes on the inside. You know he's going to have a go.
Yep.
Maverick Vinales, and it's going to be from 2 Ducatis. From Zarco and Bagnaia. Mir could do nothing. He'd got that podium, and somehow the Ducati power.
The speed of those 2 Ducatis working together just flew past that.
Alex Rins eventually took 600ths behind him on the Honda, top Honda in the race. Jack Miller, a very disappointing 9th place, just 2 seconds. Very happy with it.
You're beating Valentino Rossi in your first MotoGP race.
Right down to the Rossi in 12th, Oliveira in the points, but still not bad, is it? 16 seconds covering 15 riders.
No.
Out of the points, Luca Marini, Ika Lecuona, Savadori rounding out the field. Marquez and Nakagami, the 2 LCR bikes, were crashers. As
it's his first ride in the factory team. He's had a very GP race for the majority of the race. That was difficult for him. Like I say, it was difficult for him to be able to judge exactly how hard to push with those.
In MotoGP, I have to say, some of the racing is as brilliant as ever. Marc Marquez watching on. He wants to be in the mix. Popcorn and MotoGP for Marquez. We hope to get him back sooner rather than later, because you chuck him in this mix. Carlos, what win number is that? I'm going to throw that as a little bit of a
guess.
A quiz to you. Bear in mind, 7th season he's starting
MotoGP.
now. He'd have more. He should have had so many more. Is this a new dawn for Yamaha? What have you looked?
What I'm saying is the Ducati always works well around this track. So it's difficult to say, well, Ducati have transformed them, just pipping the Suzuki at the end. But we've got those 3 manufacturers so close. And then we know Honda will be there once Marc Marquez.
In the 56s, pretty much. So Rossi was mixing it at least towards the end.
No, the problem for them is we have to do it all again next weekend. It's so frustrating when you're at a track where your motorcycle doesn't work. There's nothing they can change. They're not in Qatar.
Is this the start of a new era for Maverick Vinales?
Girlfriend that is at home, so it's out, and nothing. Thanks to my team also.
It was a great race, Pico. Congratulations.
And I just take the moment now, right now, and I will analyze a little bit more later.
And just say thank you. I'm really thankful for everything it's done now.
Amazing ride, Maverick.
Thank
Congratulations.
You. Thank you.